How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish. This is my 2015 Rolls-Royce Wraith, and I just learned a very hard lesson.
Because when I came to the UK to rebuild this car that we named Sue, I thought it would be quick, easy, and cheap. And I was wrong. Even though this Rolls-Royce wasn't crash damaged or flooded, it was stripped pretty extensively by my friend Matt, so he could fix another Rolls-Royce that was crashed by a big famous sports boy. And because I couldn't find the parts I needed to fix my Wraith, I had to buy a whole other car that was flood damaged. We swapped out the subframes of the car along with some major bodywork, got new wheels, got the engine running, rebuilt the cooling system, all to get it ready for its next owner. Because I'm not keeping this car. It's actually going to be raffled to one of my viewers at the end of this video. So make sure to stick around for that. Now we still have a lot of work ahead of us to finish this massive project. And we still had parts we needed from our donor car.
And that brings me to this thing right here. This is my 2015 Rolls-Royce Wraith, but it's not the one we started with. You see, this is not Sue, this is Agnes. This is the flood-damaged Rolls-Royce Wraith that I had to buy because Sue had a lot of parts missing. And honestly, this looks exactly like the Rolls-Royce we started with. But in a lot of ways, I actually like this car more spec-wise. I thought it looked a lot more interesting, namely the fact that this was a two-tone car. It was burgundy on the bottom and silver on the top. And I thought that gave it a lot more class. And that's why I did this. Welcome to the new and improved Sue with her two-tone, well, not paint job. This is paint, but this is vinyl wrap. And one of the things I love is that this is now silver and it matches the wheels. One thing I don't love though is this is a brand new vinyl wrap, and look at this, look. There's a bird turd on the wrap. Okay, that is unacceptable, and it's unacceptable for a Rolls-Royce of this stature. Now, we do have a lot of work to do because, well, if you take a look at the interior, it's not as well sorted as the wrap was. And also you'll see that there's a side skirt missing, and if I'm honest, the car is sitting a little bit high. I mean, look at this. This is it's not a 2-finger gap. This is more like it's a 10-finger gap I got here. There's also an ABS light, there's an airbag light, tire pressure monitoring light, and probably a lot of other fault codes that we need to look at. And we don't have a lot of time because, surprise, surprise, there is a time crunch. I was invited to an event at the end of this week, and it is going to be hosted by none other than Richard Hammond, who told me to bring my A game, and this is going to be the car I bring, and I want him to see what I can build. I have my work cut out for me, and I should probably get my hands out of my pockets and get to work because we don't have a lot of time.
It's always the little things on a project that take the most time, but on a car like this, it's absolutely necessary. So I made sure the washer nozzle springs were set correctly, I looked through the ever-expanding mountain of Rolls-Royce parts in Matt's garage, and got to work installing the fender light, which was a little more trouble than I bargained for.
Check out this flood damaged part. You can see it's very, very corroded. It's a simple light, but it makes sense to de-pin this and then just clean it up. I think it can be cleaned up. It's not super terrible, but we definitely don't want to have this because then the light on the side isn't going to work. And after all, that's what makes a Rolls-Royce a Rolls-Royce. This light right here.
After the light harness was corrosion-free, I turned my attention to the fender trim panel, held on with around 10 small torque screws. This was also where the Rolls-Royce's iconic umbrella holder went, so it felt like I was putting some sophistication back into Sue. The way the side skirt went on, however, was a little less sophisticated.
right, everyone, so I want to talk about something a little bit more serious. Now, we do a lot of work on this channel, and there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes in these builds. Now, if you're like me and you stay awake at night thinking about a million different things, about builds, about business, about family, then you need to listen up, because today's sponsor, BetterHelp, can help better your life. Now, hoping your stress will magically disappear isn't just ineffective, it can actually make things worse in the long run. The truth is, you need to find healthy ways to manage life's everyday pressures. But I get it, that's easier said than done, right? Now, you don't have to white knuckle your way through each day. Therapy can give you the tools to conquer stress and take back control. And today's sponsor, BetterHelp, is the easiest way to start therapy. Over 4 million people have used BetterHelp to start living happier, healthier lives. First, you go to their site. You can use my link, betterhelp.com/Tavarish. Then you answer a few questions, and BetterHelp matches you with a licensed therapist who specializes in what you're struggling with right now. And they do this in as little as 48 hours, so you can get help as soon as possible. Now, I am a big advocate for mental health, and I want you guys to understand that therapy can help you manage your stress. It certainly did for me when I used BetterHelp. It can let you talk to a professional who has years of experience helping people manage their stress, instead of you bottling it up or feeling like a burden for opening up to friends or family. And BetterHelp can help you regain control of your life. And you can do it all from your phone or computer, via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel most comfortable. It's the easiest possible way of talking to a therapist. Now, if this sounds like something you'd like to do, go to betterhelp.com/Tavarish or choose Tavarish at checkout to get a special discount off your first month of therapy. It is totally worth it. I've used it. You guys should try it out as well. Go check it out in the link in the video description below. So this is what we call 2 steps forward and 1 step back, or maybe 1 step forward and 2 steps back, because I put everything on here. See, the side skirt is on here. We have this inner structure that keeps all the door and fender aligned. And then we also have the holder for the umbrella, which is right here. And I have to take all of that off because I forgot to put this on. Honestly, I didn't know that, I forgot that it wasn't on the car. This is a little piece of foam. And some people might be saying, oh, foam's not that important. On a Rolls Royce, it definitely is. So Tony, Matt's dad, just, well, he gave this to me and he was like, hey, you're gonna need this. And I was like, thanks. Thank you very much. So we're gonna put this piece on that goes inside here, which means that we have to take all this off again, but it's fresh in my mind, so I'm okay. So do that, and then the outside will be done.
Even though doubling back on fiddly work you just did isn't my favorite thing, it was totally worth it because I know that every part on this complicated Rolls Royce was going back on it, and we weren't cutting any corners. At least, none that I would show on YouTube. As soon as the foam piece was in, I buttoned up the panels with the painted trim pieces and umbrella, a feature available on every Rolls Royce, and also the Skoda Kodiaq.
If we take this back of the seat off, the airbag is exposed, so Matt already took the airbag out of this, and we just have to take the airbag out of Agnes, put it in here, and then hopefully this should all come together. If something's wrong, airbag could explode, or when it needs to explode, it doesn't explode. So both of those are suboptimal.
Now, it goes without saying that you should never go prying airbags with metal tools. But we made sure that the batteries were disconnected so I wasn't hit in the face with the world's spiciest whoopee cushion. I removed the connectors from the airbags along with 2 10mm bolts, and it was ready to transfer into Sue. I did the same thing with the curtain airbag, which spanned the entire length of the interior and only gave me slight crippling paranoia the entire time. I then mounted the side skirt with actual bolts, so a stiff breeze wouldn't be able to rip it off the car, before connecting the battery to see if it all worked.
So we are about to look at the electronics, all the ECUs of the car, and we're gonna try to take out some of the codes because we want everything to work as it did when it left the factory. But I just found out something really, really cool, and that's when we install this bumper, there is a sensor underneath that, let's say you're coming in from a hard day of, well, shopping and spending money, because of course you have this car. You're holding a bunch of stuff, and let's say the trunk is closed. So trunk is closed, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm holding all this gold from the gold store. And then you just do this, and like magic, I can put my gold in my car, and then just do this again, because what am I gonna do? Use my hands? Now look at this. We have the scanner attached. This is just a universal scanner. It's an Autel scanner. And you can see all the various systems in the car. I have done a quick erase, so there were a lot more codes here, but when we do a quick erase, what it does is it just flashes every module and it erases all the temporary codes. We don't have any airbag faults because we replaced the airbags up there and down here. And the only faults we have are dynamic stability control. We have coach door module. We have all-around view camera. And this is all going to be because we have no interior in the car. There's various modules and stuff that aren't talking to each other. And I believe that, you know, this car has like a ride height monitor right here, ride height control. And yet you see this fault right here. So let's go in here and we'll read the codes. And it tells me that central locking system and lid status signal invalid. So this is, it monitors whether all the doors are closed. So I think that's when it does its thing. And if all the doors aren't closed, or it doesn't sense that the doors are closed, it won't adjust the ride height effectively. So if we essentially put this interior back together, we should be able to get rid of nearly every code here. And that is really, really good, because I thought that we were going to have to take this to the dealership because, you know, it's so complicated, but apparently we can do everything right here.
Now here's a fun thing about putting together a car you didn't take apart. You get to fix all the broken tabs that you find along the way. Now this isn't anyone's fault because Rolls-Royce's interior clips are very, very tough to remove, but it's nothing a heat gun and a pry tool can't fix. I heated up the existing glue, helped it along with some super glue, and we had a black leather trim panel ready to put back in the car.
There's glitter all over the back of this car. I don't want to know what happened, but I sort of do.
Now the back of the Wraith, as proven by the glitter, is quite a nice place to be. There's leather everywhere and it's quiet and comfortable. But that's because every panel has very exacting fitment, and it goes together in a certain sequence that I certainly had out of order. After a few do-overs and a few bouts of sweaty swearing, the interior was finally taking shape.
Okay, now the rear is in, and that is a big deal. I mean, we had that thing apart for a very long time. It's been apart for like 2 months. And actually, this car has been apart for a lot longer than that. It's a little bit late, if you can't tell. It's almost dark outside, and that means it's probably like 10 or 11 o'clock because it gets dark around here like 9:30 p.m. But I am doing a quick spritz with this Matt Armstrong Detailing Products Interior Detailer. Matt Armstrong is not a sponsor of this channel, but he has let me use his shop for months at a time, and I'm wearing his merch, so go check it out. Does it say something in the back?
Brand new secondhand.
Brand new secondhand, just like this car. We are going to clean this up, and then tomorrow morning, well, I gotta put the door panel on, and then tomorrow morning, I think we can take it on its first test drive.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is it. I think we're gonna have no issues. We need to get gas. We need to get fuel for this car.
You're gonna need a lot for the top speed run.
Yeah. And they don't have big fuel canisters here. Apparently it's a thing, like you guys just have people in the UK. I go to the fuel station and I want like a fuel canister so I can take it back and fill this thing up. And it's like, it's literally 1 or 2 liters. I can't get this to the fuel station with that. So yeah, we're gonna have to probably make a few trips.
V12 problems.
It's a V12 twin turbo problems.
Yes.
All right, I'm excited.
After a quick spit shine with Matt's special sauce, I laid out the wiring harness for the passenger's door and made note of where every plastic clip went. This is one of those jobs that requires you to have 3 hands and 4 feet so I asked Tommy to help me guide this ginormous door panel into its new home. The next morning, we managed to find 2 single-gallon jugs, filled them with this weird thing called petrol, then spent the next 5.5 years pouring it into the car. When it was clear that we weren't at any risk of fire, we embarked on the inaugural voyage of the HMS Sioux.
All right, first drive, and it's actually really, really nice. But you'll notice right in front of me that the steering wheel it's a little cattywampus. Yeah, I thought, we aligned everything pretty well. We didn't change any geometry, but taking the subframes out of Agnes and into this car, obviously that shifted something. Okay, all right. So this car is gigantic on these roads. These roads are really, really, really small. And I don't understand how anybody could drive this on these really narrow roads, but I mean, the ride quality is as a Rolls Royce. It's just like it's like a pillow in here, even with the 22s. And I've noticed something. I did a little research, and if you put it into drive, then it's not very. I mean, it's definitely not going to be sporty. It's really quite sluggish. But there's a button here. It's called low, and if you press that button, it actually makes the car a little bit more sprightly. The gear changes go, I think, 25 or 50% faster. This car does have a tire pressure warning light right now, and it did have a few warning lights for the stability control, and that's because the steering angle sensor is obviously out. It thinks it's always making a left turn when it's not. But everything else works pretty perfectly. Now, we do have to get all this stuff coated out, and I've noticed that the ride height on one side of the car has not been the most consistent. It's a little high, and when I say a little high, I mean really, really high. Actually, it's on that side of the car. That allows for some interesting handling. It's a little boat-like, but we don't have time to take this to an alignment shop because I was gonna take it to Rolls Royce, but turns out Rolls Royce is several weeks out. So we don't have any time to take it to Rolls Royce. We actually have to go to a show, and that show is very special because it is the Drive Tribe live event. And I am a little nervous because Richard Hammond's gonna be there.
Believe it or not, we managed to use most of our 2 gallons of petrol on the way to the petrol station, so Sue was on fumes when we got there. I spent a shocking amount of money on fuel, especially when you consider we were probably going to have to fill up again in the same day because the show was 3 hours away. Now, I can't explain to you how much of an honor it was to be able to show one of my automotive idols the car I put together, but I was nervous. Really nervous. So nervous, in fact, that when we got to the show, I went the wrong way.
So we got in the wrong line, which put us all the way in the back of the parking lot, car park, sorry. And now we have to go around the entire event, and then this is not embarrassing at all. It's a good thing that this car doesn't attract attention. Just flies under the radar, you know. How are you? Hello. The turning radius on this car is not very good.
Why is it on stilts?
Is this
Listen, don't go and picking apart my car right now, okay?
Is this actually Sue?
It's Sue.
Fair play. Fair play,
I
that
could
man.
fit my head in your arch
You
cap.
could. You know,
The other side's better.
We picked the wrong side.
we did pick the wrong
You
side.
flip it around.
Yeah, they've only got both.
Should I? Okay, so it's a little high on one side. Should I flip it around for the good side?
Why is it on the pitch?
I don't think there is a good side.
There is a good side.
Is there?
I guarantee you there's a good side.
Ready? Just seeing your parking job. I think that might be the next event by the time you're done with it, though.
You know what? You know what? I appreciate the criticism. Not right now, okay? Not right now. Weirdly enough, a fault in my Rolls Royce has occurred on the way down on a 3-hour drive here. And my air suspension is now very 4x4-ish on one side.
Okay.
Are you sure Matt Armstrong didn't nick the ride height sensors?
So
on this side?
that's actually exactly what happened. So since we're using the subframes from a different car, they haven't been calibrated to this car, and this car has no idea what's happening. So I can't like raise it or lower it. It just like I could do that before. And now it just stopped being able to do that.
Shall we just say that the car's fine, but you are a heavy-set man?
Yes, I'm laying down the other side.
Freddie's filled his jeans with concrete.
Yeah, your friend with the camera is actually only about 7 stone.
How much is a stone? How many American pounds is that?
12, 13 pounds.
Like about 50 kilos or
50
60.
kilos.
Oh yeah, pounds.
Is that
100? He's 100 pounds.
Is that 1,000 pebbles? I don't know how. What is that?
It's 1,000 British pounds. British sterling.
Yeah. Do I pay that to you? Or?
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me get my card machine. One second.
With Sue on display with her skirt hiked up a little more than I'd like, I took some time to check out the local car scene, go on stage with some familiar faces, and truly enjoy everything oh my god, it's Richard Hammond.
Hey, how are you?
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
First of all, I'm a gigantic fan. I have a car that I'd love for you to check out because we put this car together in basically like a week's time. And it's a car that started out like just a stripped shell. So this is, you're familiar with Matt Armstrong. So he bought the Marcus Rashford car, and in order to fix that car, he needed to buy another Rolls Royce. So I bought the car that he stripped.
So this is the donor.
This is the donor car.
So it had been stripped when you bought it?
Yes.
Did you pay him well for this?
I did not pay him well.
Okay, good.
But unfortunately, Rolls-Royce parts are really hard to come by, so I had to buy another Rolls-Royce to do this.
Right, where is this Rolls-Royce?
It's right over there.
Right, and this is the one, how long you did this in?
So this is about a week, say like a week, between a week and 2 weeks.
Oh, wait a minute, I was expecting an old Shadow or something.
No, this is a 2015 Wraith.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, so on the way here, so this was the first drive that I took in the car. It was to come here. And it was a 3-hour drive. And I don't know if you noticed, but there is a bit.
That's my first comment. It'll be good off-road.
It's a really good off-road car. It's not 4-wheel drive, so it's a rear-wheel drive, so it's more of a pre-runner.
Why is it riding so high? What have you done? Did you not read the instructions?
I didn't, yeah. Apparently these don't come with very good instructions. No, so what we had to do, we had to replace front and rear subframes, the door, everything on the front, and a bunch of stuff on the interior. And what happens when you start mixing and matching Rolls-Royce parts is the computers get confused.
Right, so it's the brain telling it I need to be 16 feet off the ground.
Yeah, it's like...
I need a ladder to get in.
Yeah, I think so. If it's like if you replace one of your feet, your body wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But it does drive really, really well. And it was all one color at one point. So we wrapped this because I thought, hey, Rolls-Royce with silver wheels should have a silver roofline. It gives it a little bit more, elegance. And this is probably the cheapest Rolls-Royce in the country. So
I love that you come over here. You Americans come over here. And you are smoking around in a roller. It's very cool. It is very cool. It's quite rock and roll, isn't it? I like it.
Well, around these roads, these like clearly one-lane roads that are 60 miles an hour, by the way.
They're a sensible size road.
They are not.
They're big enough for our cars. Grant you.
They're not. You make this here.
I did try driving a 71 boat tail. No, it doesn't fit. I tried. It doesn't fit.
Yeah.
In England.
No, this is
it has presence on the road.
It's a school bus.
It's commanding.
Yeah.
I think it's superb.
Well, wonderful.
It's tremendous. So this was what did he take from it?
So almost literally everything. So the wing underneath here, there's a bunch of coolant stuff that he needed for the car. There's brackets, a lot of nickel and dime stuff. But
was it could you fabricate stuff or did you have to buy?
No. So what I had to do is I bought another one of these. So I bought, but it was flood damage. I bought a flood damaged one.
What I'm looking at is a product of 3 Rolls Royces.
Yes, it's a human centipede of Rolls Royces.
Yeah, and you're now saying this is a cheap way to get a Rolls Royce because it involves 3 Rolls Royces.
It does.
I can see the flaw.
It does.
If anybody's thinking, yeah, I'm going to do that, I'm going to build myself a cheap Rolls Royce. First start with 3 Rolls Royces.
But think about the story, you know? Like, for me, it's all about the story. This car was, you know, it was gonna go to the scrapper at some point just to be scrapped out. Because it is incredibly hard to find parts for this.
But how many miles has it done when you...
This says 50,000. Yeah.
And it was...
Yeah, that's...
But how much was this? Was 300?
So it was like 350 grand brand new, and these, I think Matt bought his for like 90. So that's a good depreciation. But then I bought mine for about half of that. So I'm winning, I think.
It's really complicated.
There's a lot of
math, but I think maybe you are winning. Well, it's very cool. I think well done. The ride height you've overdone.
So we'll fix the ride height. We have a computer, okay? We'll go back and we'll do this
It's
thing.
be a big laptop fight.
I'm used to like a Mercedes S-Class or even a BMW 7 Series on which this is, you know, loosely based on. If you floor the throttle in this car, it really doesn't get out of its own way. It takes its time. Yeah.
It's discreet. It doesn't want to be hustled. It's not Rolls Royce.
At some point, you
wouldn't understand. You see, it's an English thing.
Oh, okay.
It's about elegance.
Well, wonderful. Okay, so all I wanted to do was, come here and hopefully get your seal of approval on what we have created.
You have it. I think you've saved a Rolls from the scrapper, which is good. It took 3 Rolls Royces to do it.
Yeah.
I think it looks really cool. I mean, it looks quite rock and roll. I think there's also something very cool about coming from America to this country as a car and smoking around the place in a Rolls Royce. That's kind of rock and roll.
Well, wonderful. Also, if you are, I'm going to extend this invite. If you are in the Orlando, Florida area, please come out to my shop. I have other cars that aren't Rolls Royces.
Yeah, I'd love to.
We got a McLaren P1 that I'm rebuilding. I mean, you've probably seen it on social media, the one that was in the flood. So I'm rebuilding that one because I love...
I'd love to drop in. I'd love to come see you.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, thank you so much.
Nice to see you today and enjoy the event.
Wonderful,
That is cool. That is cool.
Can I get a photo of you guys, please?
Yes, awesome.
Awesome, thank you.
Dude, thank you so much. Yeah, you have no idea what this means. Yeah, this is
But I will come see you.
wonderful. Yes, please do.
Right, where are we going?
Richard Hammond just gave me a seal of approval on my Rolls Royce. I can die happy.
If you told me 10 years ago that I'd be doing this, I would have never in my wildest dreams believed you. But after what was one of the highlights of my year, it was only fitting that we got some truly breathtaking scenery on the ride home. But the reality of it was, we still had to get Sue back to Matt's garage because we still had plenty of work left to do.
So as you can probably tell, that side of the car is full 4x4 mode. And the way we change that is with the ride height sensor adjustment, and I can only do that with the actual Rolls-Royce tool. Now, I got this. I'm not gonna say where I got this, but I got it on my computer. We have it connected to the car. So hopefully we can get every dealer level thing that this thing needs finished. So the way you actually do this ride height adjustment is you actually have to measure the ride height using a tape measure. So I'm gonna do that. It's asking me to measure the vehicle ride height at the rear left in millimeters. And it's so weird seeing this like not in inches. Now you have to measure from the bottom center of the rim right there all the way up to the top of the arch. So this is 790 millimeters. It says the entered ride height value lies outside the permitted range. Okay, I think we figured something out. So since we have 22-inch wheels and the stocks are 21-inch, it didn't allow me to enter a value that was that high. So we just did a little bit of back of the napkin math, and we just subtracted 1 inch. And if we subtract 1 inch from everywhere, I think it should be okay.
Whoever coined the term measure twice, cut once never worked on a Rolls-Royce Wraith because It seemed like my measurements had no bearing on what the computer thought reality was. After hours of fighting with the Wraith's confused electronic brain, I resorted to some drastic measures.
So I just took all of the air out of all 4 of the shocks, of the air shocks, and I want to see how this looks. Oh, dude. This is... Oh, she's dumped. So I can't drive like this, but it looks really, really cool.
Why can't you drive like this? I think we can.
I don't think I can turn very much. I think the fender would probably come off. You admiring my ride?
Yeah, that is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is gangster. I feel like it should stay like that.
I agree, dude.
I feel
I
like...
think I can turn.
Why do you need to turn?
That's true. That is true.
Look how sick that looks.
We could camber it some more so you could turn.
Oh my, the fitment is on point.
It's dancing. Look at it. You ever seen a Rolls Royce dance?
What the hell? Why is it doing that? Whoa!
Yeah. Look at it. Look at it. It's calibrating itself.
Now with the ride height finally sorted and the computer happy-ish, there was nothing more I could do. I had to take Sue in to get seen by a professional.
So that's why I brought it here to Tires and Exhaust Galore, and they have been very well recommended, actually recommended by Curtis from Bentley Solutions, because they know what to do in terms of the alignment and in terms of setting up all the other very complex systems on this Rolls-Royce Wraith. Now, I have no idea what they're gonna do. I'm sure they're gonna connect the computer to it and then turn some wrenches, but hopefully at the end of this visit, this Rolls-Royce should be mint.
There are several reasons why you need a 4-wheel alignment, but the main one is your car won't handle or perform well if you don't have all the tires going where they're designed to go.
So here's what's going to happen. These bolts right here, they're called eccentric bolts. And when you loosen them and turn them, it actually changes the geometry of this lower control arm right here. So once that happens, that transmits the data from the wheel to that laser right there. And then you can see in real time what the alignment actually is. And they have all the specs here for what the car is supposed to be aligned to. So it's a very fiddly process, which is why this guy, professional, is doing it with very professional equipment, and why I'm just here talking to camera.
The entire process is done once, the car is moved back and forth for the suspension to settle, then the process is done a second time to check for any movement of the suspension components.
So we just got this report card here, and this is before and this is after. You see all this stuff is red, meaning that this was out of adjustment, and after adjustment, this is all within spec. So you see the steering wheel, it was off to one side, now the steering wheel is straight. We have our toe. Our toe is basically how far in the wheels are towed in or out. And this was completely out on one side, meaning that the car would have been tracking to one side or trying to turn its way to one side. But now we have everything basically the same. We have camber, caster, and thrust angle. Now thrust angle is interesting because it means between the front axle and the rear axle how far out that is, which means that if that's out a lot, the car is going to be literally crab walking down the road. So you don't want that. So all that stuff is good, and now we have to do the TPMS sensors, the tire pressure monitoring system. We have to align those to the car, and then do some stuff so the pedestrian warning doesn't start yelling at us. And then the car should be sorted, like done. Like done. This is great. This is fantastic. I've never, it feels weird. I shouldn't have a car that's done. It feels weird.
The guys lowered the car, programmed the tire pressure sensors, and Sue was done. But I couldn't help but reflect on the crazy adventure it was rebuilding her. This car brought me 5,000 miles away from home to a strange garage to meet up with people that aren't just friends, they're family. We had good times, we had bad times, but throughout the build, we knew that if we kept working, maybe, just maybe, it would all be worth it in the end. And spoiler alert, it was.
So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the brand new to me, 2015 Rolls-Royce Wraith. We have 0 warning lights ahead of us. The steering wheel is straight ahead of me, and it feels fantastic in here, and it looks even better outside. So we have that awesome two-tone paint and vinyl wrap job. We have some really awesome 22-inch wheels because of Wheel Mania. And from where I'm sitting, this is one of the most luxurious, if not the most luxurious driving experiences I have ever had. And I've owned an S-Class, I've had BMW 7 Series. This blows it out of the water every day of the week. There is just something to be said about a Rolls-Royce. You can tell that they really spared no expense on the suspension, on the double glazing here, on all of the sound deadening. It just feels like substantial. It feels like a yacht. It feels like something that really does cost 350,000 pounds when it was new. It's also fairly practical. It's not as terrible on fuel as I thought. I mean, it is a V12 with twin turbos, and it does push you along. It does push you along quite well. It has 600 something horsepower, and it definitely feels like it. It is a heavy car. It's not a sports car by any means, but it is one of the best driving experiences I have ever had. And I can't wait to show Matt, because where we're going right now is we're gonna visit my friend Matt Armstrong, the guy who sold me this car in the first place. The guy who sold me the car missing a lot of parts. So I wanna see if we get his seal of approval, and then we can actually raffle this car off, because I want one of you guys, one of my UK viewers, to potentially win this car, because I unfortunately can't take it back to the States. We have this weird archaic law that a car has to be 25 years or older in order for it to come back, and this car, being a 2015, does not fit. We have to either sell it or we have to raffle it off, and I think raffling it off is the best way for one of my viewers, or one of Matt's viewers, to get this car, and I am so excited to share this with you. What do you think Matt's gonna say, Tommy?
He's gonna want to keep it, I think.
I think he's gonna want to keep it. I honestly, I think this is a way better spec than the Rashford car. A lot of people might think, oh yeah, it's Mansory and blah blah blah, and you know, it's bespoke and $700,000 and whatever. I think this is way more classy. This car flies underneath the radar, or should I say sails, because it feels like a yacht. It feels like you're a master and commander of the ship. And even though we are on some very tight, technical, narrow roads, the more you drive this car, the more it shrinks around you. So I no longer feel like this is a school bus, or that I'm gonna take out a few hedges and take out my mirrors. This actually feels like it's just a regular car. It's very, very easy to drive. You just put it in drive and it just goes. And it goes pretty well. All right, so that's above the speed limit. That's above the posted speed limit. We probably shouldn't do that in a country where, you know, we don't live. But this is awesome. I hope Matt likes it, because I love it.
Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Yes. Bring on Sue. We're ready.
We're ready. Gee! Yeah!
Oh, that looks sick.
Yeah! Sue's alive! Sue! Back from the dead! Sue is back.
Yeah, dude, it drives so nice.
Oh.
It looks sick.
It looks really, really
Don't you
good.
feel good now she's not a corpse?
Yeah. Yeah, she's been resurrected.
Yeah.
And, well, rest in peace, Agnes, but,
Yeah, rip.
but it's gone through the greater
Someone had
good.
to take it. Wait, that's a wrap?
It's a wrap, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's not bad,
It's
right?
sparkly as well.
It's well
it is.
done.
Yeah, very sparkly.
I picked this car up from the dealership to its impending doom, but it looks better than when I picked it up, I'd say. I think it looks better now than when it was stock.
The wheels have made a difference.
Yeah,
Well, when you picked it up, it also had black badges and a black
It did.
Spirit of Ecstasy.
It did.
Yeah, it didn't look very good, and it was all one color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it looks better like this.
Yeah, it's a flex now. This
I
is a
like
big
it.
flex.
I want it. Can I have it?
Okay, well, we should probably talk about that, right? Because like there's a process here because this car is going to get raffled, and I don't want to say the wrong thing because you've done this before. I've never done this
I'll let you
before.
do
We should let Tony. Tony should do it.
Yeah.
What's that?
What do the people have to do?
Well, they have to click on the link down there. I don't know whether Freddie. Is that what they have to do?
Yeah.
Where does that take them? Where does that take them?
Or it could be up there. It's down.
Where does the link take them to?
And the link takes them to high-speed competitions.
Oh,
That's right.
Yeah, and you can buy a ticket there.
And you can win, potentially, Sue.
Yeah.
Sue. And with the high-speed competitions as well, to enter, it is link in the description box below. You have to answer a simple question to be entered. There'll be a 3 multiple choice question to answer to enter into the competition. You'll then have to pay. How much are the tickets? No one knows.
£5.
£5. That's set now. £5, and you can win a Rolls Royce. £5 a ticket gets you 1 entry into the Rolls Royce to potentially win Sue. There are a first place prize, which is Sue, and how much cash are we giving away?
£2,000 cash.
Oh my God.
£2,000.
And the end date of the competition is when?
It should be next Wednesday.
Wednesday, the
There's going to be
the 10th of July.
Wednesday, the 10th of July. So it's going out today. Go into the link in the description, and this is one of the best cars I've ever built. It's so cool. It has a presence.
You don't have to convince them it's £5.
It is.
It's £5.
Yeah, but I spent a lot more than £5. I spent £10 on it.
It is £5. It's going to be fun, and we're going to be doing the live draw on which channel we're going to do it on.
Oh, controversial. What do we go for?
I mean,
We're going to be doing it live on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could Skype. Do people Skype anymore? People don't Skype. Zoom.
We could
Zoom?
FaceTime.
Yeah,
Oh, he's got an Android.
I do. Yeah.
It doesn't have FaceTime.
I live in 1974.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
He's from America and doesn't have an Apple phone.
But we'll be doing we'll be doing the draw live on YouTube, and you can see exactly how we do that through watching the previous live draws with Google random number generator as well. We've done plenty with high speed comps, and that is exactly where I.
Tony, all right. He's all right.
Run, Tony, run while you can.
We've done plenty of cars with high speed competitions as well, but unfortunately, Freddie is in the UK and it's a UK only competition, so Freddie's going to have to do another one back in the US with the P1 or something.
I'm not giving away the P1.
£5.
It doesn't run. Okay, cool. So I just wanted to get your seal of approval, but not only that, I wanted all of you guys to sign this car.
Oh yeah,
we need to sign it. So I got a Sharpie. We're gonna sign it right in the middle.
Yeah.
So everybody can see who worked on it, who put their touches on it, and I think it's gonna be awesome.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hi.
Imagine winning a Rolls Royce for a £5. That is crazy.
That is
like
nuts.
someone is going to have this car for £5. I'm a bit jealous, to be honest.
Can I enter? Oh wait.
Yeah, can I enter? We're the cameraman.
Yeah, we never get anything.
He did.
Yeah,
Yeah, we always get like we go
We get to look
everything
on.
and go everywhere and do everything, but we
can
don't
enter,
win
we can
anything. Yeah, okay.
We're winning in life. Okay.
We are winning. Yeah, we are winning.
You could sell it for £6 at least.
Oh yeah, at least.
Where are we going? Just straight on the screen?
Wherever you like there.
Sure.
Wait, but I didn't do anything.
Yes, you did. You were there.
You probably
every step of
transferred
the
the
way.
money.
That is the only
You're the
thing I did.
financials.
I transferred the money
You
in
were
order
the
to
glue
buy
that
it.
held this all together.
Thing there just so it looks.
There you go.
And Tommy.
No,
Yeah, you got to do it.
I can't. I
You
didn't.
got- yes, yeah.
No, I didn't do anything.
You did so much. Come on, Tommy.
You sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, what am I gonna write?
Just right.
Your name.
Oh,
Just write your name, yeah.
Womanizer?
Yeah. Don't. People don't know what.
Google my last name.
Google your yeah.
TV. Cool.
Awesome. That is cool. All right.
There you go. That's it. That's yeah, that's perfect. That fills the gap. That gap was really annoying. That was awesome.
There you go. So that is it for the episode. That is it for the build. I want to thank everybody that watched. I want to thank Matt Armstrong and his entire team and everybody that made this car possible. It is awesome. It really is. And again, if you want to win this car, then please hit the link in the video description below. But until next time, wrench every day, get your hands dirty, and buy a Rolls Royce. They're really, really good. See you guys.